snacks.
It's your boy Gage. There's the homie Sin.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Sin, do you think you on my left or my right? Where are you in relation to where we are on screen?
When I'm looking at the
where
screen,
you at?
you're on my right. So it's confusing trying to point and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's weird. It's mirror imaged.
All right, so that's Sin. Jokes?
Yo, what's good?
What up, Jokes? Do you know where you are?
I kind of do. So on my side, for me, I'm on your right, the viewer's left. Make it easy. Yeah.
My right.
You got it. You
over
got it.
here.
Yep.
Jokes?
Yep. You got it.
Sin.
Nah, Sin still no.
No,
You're on the end. No, go ahead.
You're on the end. Yeah, you're
I'm on the end.
Sin's
on
in the middle. Yeah,
I'm in the middle, and Jokes is on the left.
All right, so there and there.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
See, that was easy. That was so easy. You know what I'm saying? Listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is Loading Snacks Weekly, where we get together once a week and we talk about things that are happening in pop culture from a distance. And today,
social distancing.
We're going to talk about the MCU because their entire slate got pushed back. That whole thing got pushed back. So we have some things to discuss as far as that's concerned. First and foremost, though, how is everybody holding up? Everybody good?
Still doing okay. Nothing like we've had, like last week. Not too much has changed on my end. Still essential. I'm still going to work. Nothing's different on that part. So going to work, just pretty much coming straight back home. I actually managed to do an order on Amazon and actually managed to get it delivered the same day. So I didn't actually have to. Yeah, and I didn't have to go to the store to get anything. Crazy.
What did you order, sir? What did you order?
Even contained toilet paper as well, too.
Oh, you ordered toilet paper from Amazon.
Like grocery wise, food stuff, and got it delivered the same day.
I dig that.
I was actually surprised, but trust, it was difficult because Amazon is like right now, we're opening windows up throughout the day. You're gonna have to keep checking. Random window, you see it. If you see it, you gotta grab it. So whatever you got in your cart, that's what you're getting. If you forgot to add something, you gonna have to wait till you can get another window to open.
Yeah, that's one of those. Put it in your cart and leave it in there and hold tight.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And do not click go. Do not collect $200. Sit tight.
This is what you get.
Just hold off on it for now.
Facts.
When the window's open, yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
Sin, how you holding up, man? You going crazy in the house yet? You been out when you outside of having to go to the office a couple of times. Have you been out? Have you been to the grocery store and stuff?
Yeah, I went to the grocery store yesterday morning before I started my shift, just because I like to. When the grocery store was open at 6, I was there at like 6:05.
Okay.
It was only me and a couple other people in the store, so I was great. Got to go in, take advantage of what they had. Got some stuff I needed just because they're saying these next 2 weeks grocery stores are void. It's going to be critical. I said, let me get the last bit of the stuff I need so I don't have to leave the house for the next 2 weeks.
Right.
So I took care of all that. So I'm good. At least I'm a solid good for the next 2 weeks with all this stuff going on. So I'm straight. I'm trying to stay positive. Like I said, stay focused. Getting a little bit of, I don't know, like trying to figure stuff out, anxiety or whatever, a little bit today. But other than for the most part, yeah, but for the most part, I'm still good.
Do some push-ups. Just go in the room, throw some stuff out the way, tell the cat, get out the way.
That ain't happening.
Do like 10 push-ups. You know what I mean? And just like, stay motivated.
Yeah,
feel me?
I got you.
You know what I mean? Throw it in the chat, man. We got to wrap. You know what I mean? That's what the chat is there for.
Of course.
Okay. Well, let's talk about.
I'm about to say, how about you? You didn't say how you were doing during all this.
It's the same old same, man. It almost feels the same as it always does. It's just a lot fewer people at work.
Okay.
So you know what I mean? Yeah. So as far as people working, so it's a lot. It's a little overwhelming. Working a lot of hours. I'm tired. You know what I mean? Like that's really what it comes down to. I'm tired.
But you're still looking spiffy over there. You got
you good.
Everything going on, man.
Hey, you gotta maintain certain levels of regularity. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, listen, let me tell you how. Like, I feel like if I don't show up to work with a tie on Tie Tuesday, people are gonna think the world is is like really like people are gonna be like, yo,
where's your tie?
He doesn't have on a tie. Oh my god.
yeah.
Shut the store down now. I'm
Hey,
calling.
listen, nah, you know what though? On facts, like it helps me keep track of what day of the week it is. It just does. It just does, bro.
You real about
You know
that?
what I mean? Like, people are losing it, bro. People are uptight.
They are.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's just, you know,
I feel like the past.
I feel like you know what is crazy is that I feel like a lot of people just don't have solid outlets. Most of the time, other than just like going out, like they don't have an outlet. Like a lot, I feel like a lot of people don't really have hobbies or something. You know what I mean? Like they don't just have something they do. Like
that.
they don't. People aren't necessarily crafts people. They're not. You know what I mean? Like I
Their
don't.
hobby was going out and bar hopping and club hopping. That was their
Or
hobby.
something, which is not a hobby, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me just make that clear. That's not a hobby. Movie watching, video gaming, board games, painting, drawing, coloring, crafting, building, working on cars. You know what I mean? Like, even if you're like a shoe collector, if you collect shoes, but you like gotta go and like see them, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta go. You know what I mean? Like, there are certain things that you just kind of you feel like you have to do. I feel like for folks like us, it's not as difficult.
True.
As it is for other people. So I feel like when people aren't going and doing something, they feel like they don't have purpose. Um, so I mean, personally, I'm cool. I think the kids are cool. They're saying they are. You know what I mean? So
Gotcha.
you know, I'm like, y'all want to get out? Y'all want to get in the car and just go for a ride? They be like, nah. I'm just like, all right. You know what I mean? Like, okay. But I do. Like, I get out. Like, I just get in the car and I just drive. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just go drive for like an hour. You know what I mean? Or whatever. I got a note says I'm allowed to be out. I don't know about the rest of y'all. But, yeah. So, I'm cool, man.
Okay.
There's a lot going on, man. We got a lot happening. We got virtual Comic-Con coming up.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So, trying to get some things prepped for that. So, there's still a lot happening. And so, I'm relatively busy.
Yeah.
And then in the midst of that, it just seems like there's new news that has to do with this kind of stuff almost every day.
No, it is.
100%. Yeah.
It's every day.
Yeah. So yeah, man, it's just about kind of staying on top of this and all that. And that's kind of where I am. So yeah, man, let's talk about the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we don't talk about the MCU a lot.
The MCU is important.
In our world, it is.
It's important.
For sure. Look, last week we had a good conversation about, movies moving to digital and how that's going to affect theaters and, all of that kind of stuff and what that really means for theaters. We didn't really get heavily into, like AMC talking about how they may not be able to stay open if this doesn't end soon. Like AMC has been downgraded as far as their credit rating to like a negative triple C or something like that, which basically means that they are in a place where they may not survive this, literally, as a theater chain and may not be able to open anymore. And so we could see a lot of businesses that we are like, on like cutscenes we talked about GameStop. They closed like 300 stores, and it's just we could see a lot of what we've grown used to being normal and places that we could go not make it through this in terms of businesses and things of that nature. And so the MCU, Disney, and their slate of films, they usually have so much stuff that comes out in a year. Disney over the past few years has had somewhere between like 3 and 5 films release a year. 2 or 3 MCU films, a Star Wars film, a Disney film or 2, or a Pixar joint or something. Like, they keep box office pumping constantly. And their stuff not only are they constantly putting stuff out, only usually a few months apart, but they all do well. Which again is one of those reasons why Disney does what they do, and they're like, yeah, if you want our movie in your theater, we're taking a bigger cut, kind of thing. So for them to adjust their entire slate, we did talk about this a couple of weeks ago with Black Widow. We talked about it with Wonder Woman and saying, okay, Wonder Woman said, we pushing back to August. This is a theater film. We're not doing digital. This is going to be in the theater. And we speculated on how that would affect Black Widow. So, Black Widow has shifted to November, like November 6th, which is a far cry from May. Yep. Okay? So, we've pushed out 6 months. So, I have a couple of questions. Okay, first of all, that has shifted everything. So, let's just kind of run the list. Let me look here. So, Eternals was supposed to be November 6th. Black Widow is in that place now. Okay. Eternals is now February 12th next year. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is now May 7th. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is now November 5th of next year.
Yeah.
Thor, Love and Thunder has moved to February 18th of 2022. Black Panther 2 is now in May, so May 8th of 2022. Captain Marvel 2 is now July 8th, 2022. Now, the interesting thing about that is, up until they moved all these, Captain Marvel 2 didn't have a date.
Yeah.
So, apparently, there is supposed to be another film in October of 2022 that does not have a title yet, and we don't know what it is. And then 4 more movies for 2023 that are also untitled.
Yeah.
And we don't know what they are.
Okay.
So, all of that considered, I guess the first thing is, how many times can they get away with doing this? If this lasts longer than expected, and November no longer is realistic, how many times do we think Disney can actually get away with pushing this entire slate back again?
I don't know that, because I know they have their projections and everything of what's coming, so they can try to make money for that year to start prepping for the next year. Like, I feel like, probably can get away with maybe one more time, but then it's like maybe we got to start doing these things digital. Like, I am happy the fact that Black Widow got pushed, and the fact it is still releasing in the theater, because I've been strongly like, I want Black Widow in the theater. She deserves it. But it may get to the point where like it's just not feasible. And with us keep pushing it back, because if it was, from my understanding, one of the untitled movies, I'm not sure if it was the 2021 or 2022, one apparently came off like entirely. So I don't know if maybe that was just the shifting, or maybe they just weren't too sure where to put it at maybe now since the whole rearranging. But because if they keep doing this, like as of now, they haven't really said anything about the Disney Plus. It seems like Disney Plus is still in the places that they are. They haven't said anything official about that just yet.
Right.
But that would mean one or two things. So with Disney Plus, that means whatever, like Winter Soldier and Falcon, Loki, all of those, we know they're going to tie directly into the MCU, but it seems like they don't necessarily have a direct effect on what's going to be like on the slate first. Because I would have thought that, Winter Soldier, Falcon may have had something to do with Black Widow and the two of those. So, but I don't think.
I mean, it's possible, but we know that show takes place after Endgame.
Endgame, right?
And possibly even after Far From Home.
Far From Home.
So it's possible that doesn't have to move. Now, there could be something that was in there that was a little extra or an Easter egg or something like that maybe they pull, but, and maybe they can tack that in somewhere else or something like that. So that is a possibility that I don't know is necessarily an issue. Loki, technically also a prequel, because though it technically would be something that has to take place after Endgame, they went in the past into a different timeline to do this. So, and we know that there's time stuff at play in that show, so it is possible that it doesn't matter as much, but it should still be tied in somewhere.
Right.
And then with WandaVision, that's the piece that I feel like is the biggest piece that's tied into the rest of this.
Yeah, it's still...
So even if they kept the other two and they moved WandaVision, that's the thing that seems like it's the most important piece, because she's supposed to be such a big part of the next Doctor Strange film.
Right.
But yes, we didn't get any real word about what's going to happen with the Disney Plus slate.
Not at all.
But let's kind of keep it in that first realm of that question. Let's say this lasts through the summer. Let's say it lasts through August. Let's say it lasts through October, and November is still an issue. Let's say, again, because we talked about this too, let's say the U.S. is okay at that point and other places are not, or they don't, right? So one of the things about this has been that, like, we usually see relative worldwide releases for these films. We do see a bit of a stagger. Recently, a lot of times overseas, these films have come out before they come out here in the U.S. You'll see the premieres happen a week or two ahead. So that's the other thing that kind of throws a kink in this, right? Could we be looking at the possibility if, let's say for whatever reason, they have to shift this again, say they have to shift everything into 2021 and push everything else back, could we be looking at the possibility of it getting a theatrical release here, but getting a Disney Plus release in other regions?
I say that's
right? Like,
that's strongly possible.
What are you thinking, Lo?
I'm thinking overall, I think moving everything back was a smart idea from a production value standpoint, because so many things in the future have been put on hold, which means if they started releasing stuff digitally now, we would get to a point where it would be such a gap in between when the next stuff will come out, when people are so accepting right now of things being pushed back. Let's push it back to November. That's a good point. We're not pushing to the end of summer. Let's push it back to the fall. Study, see how things are going, and we can adjust accordingly. I think it's a smart idea going forward. After that, they're going to have to start looking at doing things as far as digitally releasing things. More so quarantining their people off, their sets off, whatever, to finish productions on these things. Figure out a way to move forward with it, but just releasing them digitally. They're going to have to start looking at that, because that's the way it seems that things are going to be going the longer that this quarantine goes on.
Right. I mean, part of the problem is that some of these films have not started production at all.
Yeah.
And other films were mid-production.
Yes.
And haven't, you know what I mean? And so are not complete. Things are not the way that they were. I mean, look, fingers crossed and all blessings in the air. But there's a possibility that certain actors or certain people who are or were working on some of this stuff don't survive this.
Very true.
Right? Things could change.
True. Yeah.
Right. Things could change very quick. I mean, that's a super grim look. I'm just talking about what the reality of it is, right?
And
that's on fact. I'm sure they're looking at those avenues as well too, because
yeah,
you have to, don't you?
It's realistic.
100%. Yeah.
Disney did make adjustments to some of their other properties. There's not a lot, but like Artemis Fowl, which was supposed to come in theater, they just bumped straight to Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Which again is an interesting thing. Now, from what I saw, and this could be different, maybe I missed something or whatever. From what I saw, unlike what they did with Onward, where Onward went to a digital release where you could buy it first, and then like a week later came to Disney Plus. This doesn't say that. This doesn't say that they're going to release it digitally so you can buy it if you want, and then it's going to come to Disney Plus. This just says they're bumping it to Disney Plus. I find that super interesting.
You think that could be looking at the numbers of how they did everything with Onward? They figure this might be the best route.
Could be. You know what I mean? It could be that they're making an adjustment. Mulan got pushed to July 24th.
Okay.
That's not far.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
That's interesting, though, that Black Widow, which is already done and ready to come out, was pushed all the way to November.
Mm-hmm.
Right, into a slate that another film was in. Most of these joints, basically, they just bumped them one slot. Like, when they were supposed to drop, they just bumped it another slot.
They just shifted it.
But it is interesting to me that, like, you would bump Mulan just to, like, July, which that could still be a problem.
I don't even think think that's going to.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with your jokes.
With a lot of the extra stuff they've put in place, it just doesn't seem like that's going to happen.
Yeah,
it's strange to me. Like, if you do that, why would you bump Black Widow so far out? If you right now are thinking you're still gonna put Mulan out, you know what I mean? In midsummer, that just seems odd to me. Now, obviously, you don't want those to compete.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, two pieces of the puzzle, like that, and plus, I think maybe they feel as though it's a little bit of a safer zone to just push that one just further down in case for whatever reason July rolls around and we're still in the same place in July. Like Mulan, you could say, hey, let's just move this one a month. Let's move it to August. Still got a gap between that and Black Widow. Or say, hey, let's move it to September. There's still another month between it and Black Widow. It's like I feel as though if they had to move it to like October, that's kind of where it would be like, we don't really want to have these two combating with each other. But
it actually makes me wonder whether or not part of the reason for that is because of the type of film Mulan is. That if Mulan can still release in the middle of the summer, if everything is good and people can go, people are going to take their whole families. Like, Mulan is going to be the full family, kids, all that, to go, you know what I mean, to go see that. And they might be looking at that like, all right, let's put this out, let's boost these numbers, let's do our thing with this, so that we can pull as much money in as we can. Let's get the kids out of the house, whatever, right? Because come November, if things are back to normal and kids are back in school, like actually going to school, you know what I mean, stuff like that, even though you might see great weekend numbers as a whole for Black Widow, Mulan, you're likely to see those numbers just run. The whole, you know what I'm saying? Every day, all day, people trying to go. Even if you're going on vacation, if you're going away, people are still going to go to the theater where they went on vacation to try to go see this. If it's, you know what I mean? And then if it turns out that they do have to push it back or they can't, whatever, if they absolutely have to turn to digital, they know they can sell it. Right? People are still stuck in the house. Kids are still stuck in the house. Kids been stuck in the house. Parents been stuck in the house with the kids
going nuts
since March. You know what I'm saying? Like,
nuts. Real talk.
You know what I mean? Like, buy this joint, get Disney Plus, stop playing around. So I wonder about that.
That's what we're saying. Get Disney Plus, stop playing around.
Get Disney Plus, stop playing around. Facts. I mean, that could be what it is, right? That just the kind of movie it is, like, all right, let's just try to make this joint work through the summer. You know, and have it be our big joint, you know what I mean, for the beginning of the year, and then see if we can't cap off the end of the year with Black Widow. You know, maybe that's what it is, man. I don't think I think if for whatever reason, if Black Widow can't come out in November, it's making me feel like they can't push it more than one more time. If they have to push it,
Right.
again, they might push it to February.
Mm-hmm.
I could see them maybe pushing it from November to February. Maybe. But outside of that, I don't think they can do it again. I think that joint goes digital and everything changes. I think everything changes. Even if it gets a theatrical release, I think they're like, well, we tried it.
Right.
But at some point, you're going to have to be able to speak to your shareholders.
Like, look, we got to make this move.
Because the truth of the matter is, generally fiscal year is going to end in February or March going into April. Most of the time, fiscal year ends at the end of the first quarter of the year. So you're talking about trying to have Mulan, Black Widow, and what was the February release now?
Onward.
Let me go back.
Onward.
No. You're talking about
No.
MCU.
No. Eternals.
Eternals. Okay.
Eternals. Now that Eternals in February, if you have to push Eternals outside of that into the next year, into the next fiscal year, right? So right now you're still trying to keep at least 2 of those films in this year.
In those places, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if Shang-Chi was supposed to be the joint that hit in February, and I'm going to be real, I don't got a whole lot of faith in Shang-Chi. I got faith in Feige, don't play with me. But,
Okay.
it's the tie-in to the Mandarin with the 10 Rings things that I feel like sells anything that has to do with Shang-Chi outside of that. Like, that's
100%.
But I think if the only film that you can have, if you're trying to drop Black Widow in February, when you start getting on with your shareholders and having earnings calls and all that, you better find a way to get this bread
Straight up
on this table as quickly as possible.
Other
Because you got to keep in mind, right? Because you're not just talking about movies and movie sales. You're talking about all of the paraphernalia, bro. Like, with Black Widow not coming out until November, you're going to miss all the book bags, sleeping bags, all of the summer, you know what I'm saying? All the summertime sleepovers, all the t-shirts.
All the back to school.
You know what I'm saying? Like, all of that crap, bruh. All of that money is gone. It's not just you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to find a way to try to capitalize on that in a way that you haven't been able to do so. So we're not just talking about ticket sales, you know what I mean? And dollars that come in from ticket sales. We're talking about the full-on marketing beast that then is, all of the little girls and the little boys and whatever else that are going to want Black Widow crap. Because I don't know. We know at least that Black Widow is marketable in that.
Coronavirus.
But I don't know how marketable the Eternals is. Right? Like, you could probably do t-shirts.
Yeah.
But like, and same thing with Shang-Chi. Now, let's not get it twisted. Right now, young children don't have a Bruce Lee, a Jet Li. Like, they don't have what we had, man. They don't have no Last Dragon. They ain't no Don the Dragon Wilson, even though he was fluke. There's nobody out there, you know what I mean? Like, getting it, making little boys want to go outside and fight each other right after they finish watching something. You know what I'm talking about? Like, they don't have that. Shang-Chi might be a problem. And it's also runs the risk of being real racist. Let's just keep it a buck. They got to be real careful.
Get it? Yeah.
I feel you. I trust Feige with it. Like, you're right. It has. You know, racist, especially right now with coronavirus. But I trust Feige. I trust Feige, Marvel, Disney with it to curb that.
Look, when this is all said and done, and this is better, we still gotta get that on the shirt. We've been talking about that for a while. Trust in Feige. We have to get that on the shirt.
Feige we trust.
Feige we trust. It's got to be on the shirt.
Let me tell you something. I'm not putting that on a shirt till this Black Widow joint drop.
Okay.
Matter of fact, Shang-Chi gotta be dope. Shang-Chi ain't dope. Boy, listen to me. If Shang-Chi comes out and crushes, what? In Feige, we bow, bruh. Like, you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me, bruh? Put Slim on the pedestal.
I'm with you. But we gotta be prepared. Yeah. I agree, Joe.
Don't get it twisted. Like, my man has done a phenomenal job up to this point, but I think his work is like right now. I think my man's work is cut out for him.
Everything has been building up to this point right here.
All the pieces are falling nicely into place.
Black Widow and Shang-Chi.
I mean, look, I got faith in Black Widow. Mm-hmm. But Black Widow has a strong backing with a lot of story behind her. People just, they want to see it. She's an Avenger. Like, the name is just there. Okay? That's cool. I feel like that's an easy one. If you mess that up, if he messed that up,
problem.
Right. Now, Eternals, you got a superstar, all-star cast full of all kinds of people. And again, if you have the right people directing and putting it all together, you can get screen time. That joint could be
like Guardians.
Incredible.
Like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
Like that. Yeah.
I mean, you know what, though? Guardians didn't have the star power. Let's keep it real.
Like
Chris Pratt didn't become who Chris Pratt is until he became Star-Lord. It's just no two ways about it. For as funny as he was on Parks and Rec, that Chris Pratt, not even close to this Chris Pratt. Not even close. That's the Chris Pratt that, like, when people was like, oh, Chris Pratt's playing Star-Lord, people was like, if you don't get out of here with this, who did this? You understand what I'm saying? Nobody trusted Feige right there. You understand what I'm saying? Like, are you seriously going to make Chris Pratt Star-Lord? What are you doing?
Yeah, I got it.
Fire, though, right? And outside of that, I mean, the star power for Guardians by comparison to the star power in Eternals, it's not even close. It's not even close. It's not even close.
That's all.
I got respect, but let's be real. Batista.
Vin Diesel's dude, but I mean, I am
Bradley Cooper. You know what I'm saying? For what it was. I think it was a good comparison. Not as on the scale of what they're trying to do with Eternals. Just as far as a comparison of taking a group that's obscure like that people don't know and building up and making a big thing.
Sure. Yes. As far as like people not really knowing who the Eternals are.
Yes.
But I think so much of that is going to depend on what is happening in Black Widow that has to do with Eternals. Because if you're putting out Black Widow right after Eternals, and we're not getting something on Disney Plus that specifically talks about them and ties it in, why are we doing? Like, what are we doing? And I'm pretty sure, for real, that Guardians 3 should have been ready to drop in that place, and Eternals would have come after that, which would have made sense. But because they can't do Guardians 3 because they fired old boy from directing, he got picked up to do the new Suicide Squad. They got to wait till that's done before he can come in and do Guardians. That throws everything else off anyway.
Yeah, 100%.
I really believe the strength of Eternals was going to be based on the success of Guardians 3, and they was going to get introduced there. You feel me?
Okay, I'm with you.
Ruined.
So, I mean, they stunk that down. But you know what, though? Respect for sticking to your guns. We're saying, like, we're not tolerating this, and it can't be, and da-da-da, whatever. And they fired them because you know, whatever. It is what it is. Stick to your guns, do your thing. And then unstick your guns and hire them back. Good job.
Hey, when the whole crew was like, hey.
They're like, we made our point.
Crew was like,
yeah.
I also think that's one of those things where they were like, we don't really need James Gunn. Like, we'll just hire Taika Waititi and have him do it, or we get somebody who can come in here and do it. And I just don't think that worked out the way that they thought it was going to work out. And they was like, all right, we got to go get Slim.
We need them back.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, Eternals is gonna be some work, man. And again, I just don't know. We just don't. I think it's so up in the air how powerful of a franchise the Eternals could end up being. It's so up in the air. I think Shang-Chi is already more easily marketable than the Eternals are, just because you can take the name and look at Shang-Chi and market that dude automatically, right? When you take the Eternals, like the Eternals doesn't even say anything name-wise about what you're dealing with or what you're getting. Like even Guardians of the Galaxy
says
as a name, like the name is marketable. You know what I mean? Like, so I just feel like it's an easier bag. You know what I mean?
I can see that.
Eternals is a little tricky. And so again, I think when you start sitting down and talking to your your shareholders, and they like, I mean, we know it's crazy out here.
Mm-hmm.
What you doing to get this money, right? Mm-hmm. If your parks are not open, if your rides are not open, if the special stuff that you have for sale that would only be stuff that could be sold at the parks, that was going to be exclusive park stuff you couldn't get nowhere else, and nobody can come and get it, and you don't have any marketing happening, no movie out, no sales to talk about, no zeitgeist of people going, oh, Black Widow, Black Widow, Black Widow, Black Widow, Eternals, Eternals, Eternals.
Where are we pulling this money from?
How are you moving that merchandise? You understand what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong. Maybe you're not spending the money on the merchandise in the first place to make it because you don't have anybody to sell it to. Still, you are going to be looking at a year-over-year loss, and that's always bad.
Big loss.
So, I don't think they can afford to keep pushing it if they don't have something else in the works, if they're not planning or plotting something else, which makes me think there might be something else happening. I think there might be something else going in the background, and I'm going to tell you what I think that is.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I be having some theories sometimes.
That exclusive. Only snacks first.
I think that their big thing right now is going to be the animated What If show. Because all of the actors that they have that have formerly been MCU, currently are MCU, are all supposed to be doing the voice acting. You don't necessarily have to go to a studio. A lot of these people have the ability to record from their homes to get this stuff done. As long as they have animation teams that are still in a place where they can work on it. You know what I mean? They don't necessarily have to be in the office. They got to be in the office sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that What If, being that it is supposed to come to Disney Plus, being that it is going to tell stories that are things that didn't happen, that could have happened if things changed, the reintroduction of characters that people may have forgotten, like a Peggy Carter who ends up being Captain America. I think that reintroduces / reinvigorates not only for people who were too young or don't remember or never knew. I think it reintroduces them to those films to begin with, and people go back and they watch those. But I also think it allows you an opportunity to introduce characters that you may not have seen until they came out in other movies or whatever. But maybe somehow, if there's a what if and something happens, and those are the Eternals. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. So if this had happened, the Eternals would have been around a lot sooner, or whatever it is, right? And so the possibility of having the actors who are going to be in the Eternals or be in Shang-Chi actually show up possibly in a what if could introduce you to those characters or those peoples or those actors and their voices ahead of time, and possibly build a little something that makes people go, oh yeah, Disney Plus, let me jump on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because What If is not like the other shows we talked about with Loki and
not at all.
so forth, that is likely to be tied to those movies or whatever, or might be missing something from that. So I think What If might be a bit of an ace in the hole.
I can see that. I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
And then who knows? Maybe they take one of those what ifs. Maybe it actually becomes, oh, let's use this one, and actually this did happen, and now this is actually with the MCU.
I mean, it could be, right? I mean, because it could be tied into what happens in Loki when things change and they went back in time or whatever. Like,
and because
there's
he
any
did
number
that,
of things.
it's no longer a what if.
We also have to consider where the next Spider-Man film is supposed to fall in all of this. Because that technically is on Sony, but I imagine, again, it's still supposed to be tied to the MCU. Yeah. So you've announced films up through 2022 with untitled films up through 2023. Where does Spider-Man fall in all of this?
2020. I would think that would probably be that.
You're not getting ready to tell me we're not getting another Spider-Man film until 2023.
I think that may be that 2022 slot. That sounds like the about right spot for it.
That's what makes sense for me.
Okay.
Possibly that October 2022 slot could be. That's still 3 years, right? I mean,
pretty much.
Give it a little bit of a time jump, and hey, maybe we get Peter Parker in college. Maybe we start to see a little bit of that 90s Spider-Man type thing show up with.
Hey, bro, you can't time jump when J. Jonah Jameson just got finished outing you as the person who killed. You can't time jump that. That means that whenever they put out Spider-Man, right, it can't take place after all of this other stuff. It has to take place before it or during it. Period.
Yeah.
Black Widow, we know, is a prequel. That doesn't matter. Eternals could be happening anytime.
We don't know where that is.
Right. That could be happening.
Marvel. That could be just like the first Captain Marvel. Just get them introduced in.
Just like the Guardians, like just different times.
Yeah. Shang-Chi could be happening
anytime
after Iron Man 3. Mandarin and the 10 Rings. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
we're saying all that.
That could be a prequel too.
It doesn't make a difference. You know what? Then they could just jump right in and could start right up because you're right. None of these really technically possibly could fit into the main timeline as of right now.
You just have to pick Spider-Man up right where that joint left off.
Unless you're gonna try to include him in unless he's gonna be maybe featured in somebody else's movie.
I said, or at least have time jumps that go back to when he was out in the movie, but they're pre-recorded. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Or I'm just thinking the vice versa. Instead of how Iron Man was in Spider-Man, maybe somehow Spider-Man shows up in somebody else. I don't know who would be the perfect pairing to put him with necessarily with what's going on in the MCU because obviously it ain't gonna be no cosmic thing with Peter Parker necessarily right now unless
he been in space.
I mean, realistically,
unless Nick Fury decides to recruit him for something and brings him up.
Realistically, they could again introduce the Spider-Verse and have somebody else, but that's not up to them.
Yeah,
that's up to Sony.
Sony got to play ball.
So that's the problem with that. Yeah, you can't. So right now, if I remember correctly, it's supposed to be that one more Spider-Man film and Spider-Man showing up in one more MCU film, one more big film. So whatever that is, that's got to be way later.
Yeah. So that's pretty much like a Spider-Man film and an Avengers film. Yeah, pretty much.
Which isn't going to be an Avengers film that I can figure.
That would be
no time soon.
Could be a young Avengers joint.
That's what I was saying. Some type of ultimate team up with the young. I don't know.
I mean, it's still a lot at play, right? Kree at play, Skrulls at play.
Yeah,
it's a lot happening, right? And I mean, and Captain Marvel 2 could also be a prequel.
100%.
I hope not.
100%.
I kind of want.
Why not?
I don't know. I kind of want that to bring it forward now. I don't know. I get the whole introduction thing out of the way, but
her showing up at the end of Endgame was literally the first time she's been seen on planet Earth since 1996.
Mm-hmm.
She been out doing stuff, bruh. So there's so much story to tell about that. Yeah. That movie don't have to be it don't have to be after Endgame at all. You know what I mean? not even a little bit. And I would be upset if they made it like it was after Infinity War, and she's out doing what she was doing, which is like dealing with the people disappearing on other planets and other areas and stuff like that. Like that would blow me. I wouldn't want that. But certainly, at the end of her movie, my man Ronan was like, "I'm gonna be back for Slim," and we know he got cooked by Star-Lord.
Yeah.
Dance off.
Hey, in a dance battle, yeah.
Dance off. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, cook my man in dance battles with dance moves that were pre-96. You know what I'm saying? Ronan was around in 96. Cook my man with dance moves that are like from like 89. You know what I'm saying?
Marvel.
Facts.
Yeah, I beat Ronan. What do you mean you beat him? We had a dance off. I beat him.
I mean, he did beat him with the stone too, though. I'm saying, like,
yeah, but yeah.
Remember that stone you got punched in the face with? Yeah, that's the one that I beat with.
Yeah.
So clearly, like, even if Captain Marvel dealt with him at some time, she ain't finish him off.
Oh, he got away. That was that Vegeta got away. Like, no, let him go.
Yeah.
And I need one of them unannounced joints to be a Nova film.
Oh,
straight up.
Nova. Oh.
Yeah.
Because listen, if Marvel puts out a Nova Corps film before DC puts out a Green Lantern Corps film,
yeah.
yeah. Woo! You want to talk about starting a fight? Hey, but look, at this point, I'm glad that right now the plan is to give Black Widow that full theatrical.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think we're all agreeing to that.
Ooh, but boy, if we miss November, I'll be gone till November.
Yeah. Another thing too is with these movie theaters, especially like with AMC and the way they're going, if we're making all the way out to there, we may be short on theaters to even be able to show this stuff in at that point.
Right. The total amount of money that you could bring in is obviously going to be different if you have like an entire chain of theaters that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And that ain't one of your top two, honestly. Like
now with the Ricky Dicky ones, one of the big ones of it. Yeah.
Right.
It's gonna be completely different.
What is it? AMC, Cinemark, Regal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Two of them would have
Those are big dogs, right?
Yeah, that's team 7 of movie theaters.
I'm just saying, right?
Yeah.
That's everything in our area for like.
Right. So yeah, I mean, look, that could be super detrimental to the numbers that they could be looking, because your projections for those numbers are going to be very different if you have thousands upon thousands of fewer places to even put your film to put it out. So you're already looking at lowering what your target is going to be anyway, especially if that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, man. Hopefully, you know what I mean, if, the government bailout or whatever works, and AMC doesn't just disappear. You know what I mean?
That'd be crazy if they just disappeared in the night while all this is going on. After all these years of us going to AMC and them being a thing, like that'd be so crazy for them to go like that during all this.
Hey, listen, not to be that guy, but I know I'm gonna be trying to get up in them joints and give me some posters. And I'm gonna be trying to get up in them joints and give me some. I know they got goods hiding in the back of them joints, boy.
That's another conversation. Hitting them back doors, like, hey, let me in that joint real quick.
It's a sad thing, right?
That's real.
They're going to start trying to get rid of that stuff to try to help with whatever they're going to try to.
They're gonna have to. When they start to liquidate those assets, man, it's gonna be real.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so listen, you guys, everybody who is watching, 2 things. 1, thank you for making it this far. 2, let us know in the comments what you would like to see happen as far as digital versus the movies. What do you think about this slate shifting? How do you think it's going to affect Disney Plus and the shows that are supposed to be coming to Disney Plus? Do you think that What If could be the saving grace? I'm super interested to hear all of that. Please let us know. With that, we're out. Toodles and loos. What it do, snackers and snackettes? Did you like what you just saw? Would you like to help us grow?
Here's what you can do. Shoot over to patreon.com/loading snacks, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on your favorite platform of choice. Appreciate you.